Shanti part is over.
Yes, Swamiji.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karne Vishnuyam Deva Bhadram Pashe Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indra Vruddhashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brahaspatir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vansharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. Sarvo Vaplavarahitah Pragnanaghanah Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya. Second mantra. Kamanyah kamayate manyamanaha Kamanyah kamayate manyamanaha Sakamabhirjayate tatra tatra Sakamabhirjayate tatra tatra Paryapta kamasya kritatmanaha stu Paryapta kamasya kritatmanastu ihaiva sarve praviliyanti kamaha ihaiva sarve praviliyanti kamaha kamanyah kamayate manyamanaha sakamabhirjayate tatra tatra kamanyah kamayate samanyamanaha kamabhirjayate tatra tatra Paryapta kamasya kritatmanastu ihaiva sarve praviliyanti kamaha Paryapta kamasya kritatmanastu ihaiva sarve praviliyanti kamaha. We have seen the first line of this mantra. The second line of this mantra is Paryapta kamasya kritatmanah tu sarve kamaha ihaiva praviliyante. The Paryapta kamasya, one who is fulfilled, kritatmanah, one who has done what is to be done, means one who has performed or done everything. There is nothing, no more to do, no more to achieve. Okay? Paryapta kamasya kritatmanastu. Tu means on the other hand, ihaiva, here itself, sarve kamaha praviliyante. All the desires dissolve here itself. Okay? As we said, this mantra is talking about the glory of the knowledge. And therefore, it is glorifying the knowledgeable the wise person. Okay? Who is Paryapta Kamaha and Kritatmanaha? Please understand. Who is that Paryapta Kama? One who has fulfilled all his or her desires. Okay? Listen this. If you look at our life, all our pursuit are nothing but freedom from desire. See, moksha, what we call it, you can look at the moksha from this in a different way. We want freedom. Freedom from what? In a way, true. Freedom, it is a fundamental definition. Freedom from sense of limitation. But then, at a vyavharik level, you can say each one of us is seeking freedom from desire. Desire is like a bug. Desire, you can say, is like a drop of water in your ear. You can't stand it. You just want to get rid of it. It is literally bugging you. All our endeavors are to get freedom from that desire. In a way. That's why when you get the desired object, a typical Indian expression or more so Gujarati expression, Hash, Abba, now I got it. Ha. There is a feeling. What feeling? Freedom from desire. A child, look at a baby. 2-year, 3-year-old baby will make all tantrums and cry for something which it wants badly. Okay? It will make all kinds of tantrums. I want it. When it is given, it's crying and shouting. Suddenly, the restlessness of the baby, the crankiness of the baby, the tantrums stops. It wanted to be free from that desire. Now, how do we seek this freedom? We are trying to be free from desire by fulfilling a desire. Somehow, not understanding the fact, it is not the freedom from a desire that I am seeking. It is a sense of fulfillment, sense of self-satisfaction, sense of self-contentment. That is what I seek. A sense of at-homeness with myself. That is what I seek. Momentary freedom from desire till the new ones rise. It gives you momentarily sense of fulfillment, sense of contentment. That sense of fulfillment, contentment is what we want. But not understanding this fact, we go to free ourselves from a given desire. It creates as though a pressure. There is only one thing at the back of my mind, Swamiji. I will enjoy my life after this is over. A typical Indian parents. My daughter is to be married. Once she is married, I am relieved. I am free. She doesn't agree and we don't get a bride, blah, 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 all kinds of reasons they may have. But till then the fellow is unhappy. There is a pressure. Now coming back to the point, the freedom from desire that we want, we think we get by fulfilling the desire. Okay? And we are doing just the opposite. What Bhadraja Yayati, the ancestor of Kauravas and Pauravas and Yadavas, Puru and Kuru and Yadava Kula. Pita, has said, "Na jatuh kama kamanam upabhogena shamyat. Havisha krishna vartmaiva bhuya eva bhivardhati." You see, kamaha kamanam upabhogena na shamyat. A desire is never satiated or quenched by fulfilling it. The process of
Swamiji, we lost you. Your voice.
the endeavor to be free from a desire, pressure of desire, by fulfilling a desire is like pouring a ghee in fire to extinguish the fire. More you pour, fire. More you fulfill, more it wants. And there are nth number of desires. Some of them you just don't know, and some of them will crop up later on. You pick up some desires later on. As you know the things, about 3-4 decades ago, no, why 3-4 decades? About a decade ago, nobody has a desire to buy a cloud. They would have laughed in India. You want to buy a cloud? No, I want to buy space in the cloud. That's how they look at it. So the point is, as the advancement takes place, the technological things, and you see the new things, and that's how the desires crop up. Now, this person is paryapta kama, is a person who is fulfilled. How is he fulfilled? How do you call him paryapta kama? Because he or she knows that there is nothing which is separate from him. And therefore, he is fulfilled. You cannot fulfill all your desires simultaneously. One who gains the self, knowledge of the self, which is purnaha. And that means everything is not separate from myself. When one knows nothing is away from myself, I am the very substratum of everything, adhishtanam. That which is because of me. That shines, it shines because of me. When he knows this, obviously there is not going to have any desire to have anything. That all desires get simultaneously fulfilled because you can desire for something which is not with you. It is all me. Atmanah tasmadva etasmad atmanah akashas sambhuta. Akashad vayu vayu ragni agne rapah adya prithvi. Prithivya moshadaya oshadibhyonnam annat purushaha sava esha purushonna rasamayaha. So he knows what is the wisdom that I am that Brahman, which is the cause or the substratum of everything. So everything is me. Nothing is away from me. And I can never ever desire for something that is me. Unless he has some psychic problem. Do you ever desire in ignorance, an ignorant person, can he or she desire that I should have a head over my shoulder? I desire for one pair of eyes. I desire for one nose. You don't, because it is me. That discovery of this fact that it is me makes the person paryaptaka. Okay? And therefore, he is free. All his desires are fulfilled simultaneously. Please understand here, when we say all his desires are fulfilled simultaneously, does it mean that person will not have any desire? In a way, yes, and in a way, no. What do I mean by that person will not have any desire? There are two types of desires. You find such statements that wise person doesn't have any desire. The famous verse of this Sthita Prajna section, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmannevatmana tushtaha sthita prajnastadochyate. The Sthita Prajna is a one who has given up prakarshena jahati sarvan kaman. He has given up all desires. Like such statements are there in Upanishad, in Gita, etc. How do we look at it? Why? Because wise person seems that he or she has desire. Some wise person has a desire to build ashram, to do some seva, annakshetra, or hospital, or education, or they bless the devotees. Oh, may you be free from this agony or pain. That's a desire. They have that desire. How do you say that they don't have any desire? They have, already have. Even Shankaracharya had a desire. That's why he wrote Bhashyam. Otherwise, he wouldn't have written Bhashyam. Even Vedvyasji had a desire. So he compiled the Vedas and put it in front of us the way that we have today. It is because of Vedvyasji. And he had a desire, therefore he wrote Mahabharata. How come you say? And if they don't say, suppose you find a Mahatma not having such desires, but at least there is a desire for Bhiksha. Nothing else. It wants Bhiksha at a time. And especially Gujju women, Swamiji, kya khaoge? What should I cook for you, Swamiji? What you like? They ask for the menu. It is the most difficult question for me. I don't understand what to eat. But then I said, you cook whatever you want to. They said, no, Swamiji, you please tell. Then I said, no, you cook whatever you want. No, Swamiji, what do you like? I said, I like everything. That's when the lady gets confused. What to cook? And then some Swami will say, cook this vegetable, cook this sweet, etc., etc. Even if the Swami doesn't say that, at least Swami has a desire to eat. Therefore, he goes there to eat. How do you say it is free from desires? How do you say that wise man has no desire? At least he has a desire to teach. All these wise Mahatmas that who passed away had a desire to teach. Fact that we have this parampara, fact that we have teachers who can teach Brahma Vidya, fact that we have teachers who know how to teach, fact that you have a teachers who know what they are teaching. We have Brahmanishtas and Shrotriya Acharyas. That shows they all were Shrotriya, because this fellow became Shrotriya and Brahmanishta because his guru was like. Yeah, he then her guru, his guru. Ultimately, all the gurus were Shrotriya Brahmanishtas. And all these gurus had a desire at least to teach. How do you say they don't have desire? Please understand. There are two types of desires. In Pujya Swamiji's words, I would say They are called binding desires and non-binding desires. Okay? These are called binding desires and non-binding desires. What are binding desires? Those desires are the desires which are centered on me. By fulfilling them, I will be satisfied. By fulfilling them, I will feel content. By fulfilling that, I will become something. I will have a sense of fullness. These are all called binding desires. And there is another set of desires. Fact that you are alive, as long as the person is alive, he or she has to relate to the world. He or she has to relate to his own body, mind. Complex. Therefore, he will have a desire to sleep. Will have a desire at least to wake up. Desire, that is a mental requirement. There will be desire. He will also have a desire to eat because it is another requirement. So, desires will be there. Okay? It is not that the wise person will not have desire, but these desires are called as non-binding desires, or you can say they are purely transactional desires. Please understand, in our dharma, this one unique aspect. Nowadays, people tell, be free from desire, give up all your expectations, give up all your desires. You cannot. Desire is not like your shirt or mobile account or email account or mobile that you give it. People write nowadays, first, now 1 or 2 years, I will not be available on email, full stop. They get so fed up with the whole thing. It is not that. You cannot give up desire. Don't seek your permission to come. It just comes. Desire per se is not bad. It is Bhagavan's manifestation. Even for ignorant person. Dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatashu. Yeah, Arjuna, I am the kama. Which kama? Dharma aviruddha bhuteshu. Among the beings, that kama which is not in a position to dharma, which is in concomitance to dharma, which is in alignment with dharma, that kama is my manifestation. That is Bhagavat manifestation. So Bhagavan only manifests through kama. In case of wise person also, if he or she has a desire to do something in the society, wants to have the desire to do something good for someone else, beneficially to someone else, that desires are only Ishwaricha. It is Bhagavat manifestation. Bhagavan only is manifesting in this way. So desire per se is not bad. Because Bhagavan himself says, I am, that it's a glory for a wise person. That's why we have snakes in the neck of Lord Shiva or in the body of Shiva. They are desires which bites and it puts the poison in the body, it gives a sense of burning. I don't know. I have never experienced that, but that's what I have come to know. It gives tremendous sense of burning across the body. You can't sit, you can't rest at home. You want to get rid of it. So similarly, these raga dveshas or desires don't let you sit with yourself. They keep, it's a burning in the mind and you want to get rid of it. That's fine. Those desires, which I said, in alignment with dharma, is Bhagavad manifestation, even in case of ignorant person. So it's a glory, it's a vibhuti. And Lord Shiva has those snakes, means he or she doesn't have binding desires. All other desires are like glory to Shiva. And therefore, Paryaptaka. To become Paryaptaka, one has to become two-stage kama. You find yourself to be desirous, coming. That's a natural expression of ignorance. The whole world is ignorant, so everybody is like that. That is how, or that is why all these religion, so-called faiths, who were born on the other side of Himalayas, outside Himalayas border, there, though it is a dharma, you can call it a religion, but there only one Purushartha, and that Purushartha is what, that Purushartha is Kama Purushartha. They talk of some going somewhere hereafter. And having gone there, what are you going to get? Same thing. Better kamas. The kamas that you don't have here, you will get there. That's all they promise. So it's only kama-centric religion. There is no dharma, no moksha. They are all driven by so-called faithfuls, are driven by promise of so-called salvation, which is nothing but better karma. It is like an Indian going to America. America. I want to go and live there. Same thing, same psychological problems, same issues, only some nature of the things may change. But the problems are always there. People who have not gone there and they're trying to go there, they feel, I will be fulfilled if I go to US. And therefore they employ improper means also to enter the US. Or for that any developed country, they just get it. And they think if I make it, I have made my life. Better karmas are available. Here, same thing they are talking. This fellow is living in some village here in India, wanting to go to New York. Same way, this fellow living in New York, wanting to go to heaven. There is a kama pradhan. Nothing else. I don't understand, because there is no dharma, there is no moksha. Sharira madhyam khalu dharma sadhanam. This body is meant for dharma. That Purushartha is never mentioned. You are cut out for moksha. Human birth is cut out for moksha. Nobody tells them. So it's really blessings to be born as a Hindu, and that too in India. When you are born as a Hindu, you will have dharma as a Purushartha, moksha as a Purushartha. Somehow they have only kama Purushartha, nothing else. Anyway, coming back to this kama. So we have to have two desires to be cultivated. That is the use of freedom. Human freedom is meant to have this desire. The first stage desire is, I have a desire to commit to dharma. Both samanya dharma and vishesha dharma. I live a life dharmic. I do what is to be done. Samanya dharma means ethical life. I adhere to values. I adhere to social, cultural, universal values. All these values, and do what is to be done, and never do what is not to be done. this dharma, life of dharma, will lead the person to mokshecha. In between you have to add through viveka and vairagya. Directly life of dharma leads to viveka, discrimination about what I want, what I am seeking, and what I am achieving. That discrimination is gained, viveka, which in turn gives rise to vairagya. And that vairagya ultimately gives rise to moksha. They say desires are binding. Yes. Any desire is binding. But this desire is such binding which takes you to freedom. A moksha leads the person to freedom. It is like they say, the big fish eats away the smaller fishes. This moksha, when ignited, when assimilated, it eats away all other desire. Further, this moksha is very rudimentary, is very vague in the beginning. Person is not comfortable with what he or she has. He or she feels that I should do something more. Something more needs to be done. Something more needs to be pursued. What? I don't know. I want to do something other than what I have been doing all these years. Not what I have been doing. That's a moksha. But that person is very much gullible. Because I want to do something other than what I know, that he is in for pranayama also. He is in for thoughtless meditation. All kinds of meditation they talk about, Thoughtless meditation. They teach you. Witness meditation. They teach you. All kinds of meditation they teach you, what is it? There is something new. I heard the word. Anyway, they talk about this kind of meditations. And these meditations, person is gullible. That moksha gains a direction. Moksha gains a proper guidance when one meets with Shrotriya Brahmanishta Acharya. Then he or she discovers no, moksha is not to be gained. Moksha is already gained. I just need to own up through knowledge, which is me. Understand? I have to own up myself. That is moksha. So, if indirect knowledge is there, the very desirer of moksha is the desired I. A desirer for moksha is desiring an I which is happy and fulfilled. Then this fellow is not discovered. So he goes to a teacher and then studies and then discovers. So that means this thing that I want is myself that I am seeking. And the desire me is the desired, and therefore knowledge becomes the pursuit. One who is pursuing knowledge, that person is called as jignasu. Mukshu becomes a jignasu. Gnatu vichu. And the knowledge is sought after. And to gain the knowledge, one has to have this Vivek, Vairagya, etc., that's a separate issue. But our knowledge is the means for moksha. Paryapta kamaha, one who has gained the knowledge, well, it is muktaha. There is no moksha to be gained. And therefore he says, kritatmanaha. Kritatma. Kritam atma yena saha. No, that's not a definition. Who is a kritatma? One who is accomplished. What is to be accomplished? That all that is to be achieved through karma is achieved by me, because nothing is away from me. Nothing is different from me. And there is nothing to be done, because I am already fulfilled. Okay? Whatever is to be done is only transactional statements. This is to be done, that is to be done. But there is no other requirement and centered on I. That's why this person is called Kritatmanaha. Okay? He has nothing else to do also, because the very doer is missing. Karta is missing. Where is the question of Karta Karta not being there? Where is the question that he can do anything? Karta himself is absent. There is nothing to do, and therefore Kritatmanaha. Tasya sarve kamaha ihaiva praviliyante. His all desires get resolved here. How he or she discovers Purnoham, Purnoham, Purnoham. I am Purna. I am complete. I am Ananda. I am Ananta. Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. That Ananta is me. And that being the case, there is nothing to be done. That is why he says, Tasya sarve kama. All his desires get resolved. And this particular achievement is called moksha. And this person is called akama. Free from desires. Let's look at next one. Please understand this one point before we study the next mantra. As I said, the problem is of not feeling at home with myself. A sense of dissatisfaction, a sense of discontent, a sense that I am bound. Sense centered on it. If this was a fact, I'm really bound. I'm really limited. I'm incomplete by nature. So there is no possibility of becoming complete. With your nature, it is to be incomplete. There is no possibility of becoming happy, because it is not you. You are dukhi. If it was real, the bondage was real, you cannot be free. If it is not real, obviously, and the fact that I constantly endeavor to be free, I constantly put all my efforts to be happy, that itself shows what? That is my nature. The self or fullness or ananda that I am seeking is myself. It is already gained. Freedom is not some place, some object. It is me. That means what? if it is me, then that bondage is apparent, is not real. Bondage is notional. I think so. Therefore, it is, like a typical American. They will always, I think so. I think you should, like if you ask a doctor, should I take these medicines and will I be okay? I think you should be okay. I think there should not be any problem. I think you should be able to recover. And if it is Indian doctor here, you ask him, he already prescribed and you say that this will cure me. 110%. You go and enjoy yourself. You'll be okay. You'll talk. There is no I think. Because the society is litigant. So you cannot commit or say definitively anything to anybody. Because if you say that, they will sue you. Full stop. Litigant society. Whole society is litigant. Anyway, coming back to this, I think therefore there is a notion that I am bound. Now, since it is, I feel that, and there is a notion is always born out of ignorance. So there is a self-ignorance problem. And because it's a notional bondage, if it is a self-ignorance problem, to gain moksha, what do you have to do? Nothing but gain knowledge. Correct? Nothing else can work. You have to work for self-knowledge to remove the self-ignorance. How to get knowledge? One. You may say, some chamatkar can happen, Swami. Like a flash of lightning, the self appeared before me just by a stroke of destiny. This is how they talk. By a stroke of destiny, the knowledge appeared. The self appeared in front of me. And then the chelas say this, Guruji's Atma Sakshatkar Divas, the day on which our teacher realized the self. Atma Darshan Divas, the day when my teacher saw the self. This is all nonsense. Okay? And you cannot have accidental knowledge also. There is some Vijnanam, Chakram Vijnanam or some Vijnanam, somebody talks. That founder fellow was sitting on Uttarsanda railway station, smoking a bidi, and then while a goods train was passing, and he realized that accidentally. That's what story they told me, okay? I have not verified through their books, but that's what they said. If that means there is accidental knowledge, is there possibility that in case of self-knowledge, you can have accidental knowledge? No. Why? Self, if it appears accidentally, then you can have self-knowledge. The accident suddenly came up. Other day, one lady was telling me, she called me. Her father was my student in 88, 90. And that time the father was 60. And I think a little younger, maybe quite younger. Yes. This girl was in her schools. I know her since then. I've seen her in school uniform. Now, then in between she got married and I lost the contact. I was here and moving across India and all that. And then she suddenly called me, father and mother died. I just sent a message because they were quite close, attending classes regularly and serving me. I came to know why I just sent a message. And she was touched by what I wrote. He said, you are the only one who wrote really what they were. And you wrote from the heart, etc., etc. Then she discovered that I am coming to Ahmedabad. I want to meet you, and then came and met me and took me for Bhiksha and all that, told her story. She is married and she has a daughter who is studying in US, Columbia University. Oh, and connected me to the child on video call and we talk, etc. She said, I have heard from Mama so many times about you and I want to see you, Swamiji. And when will I see, blah, blah, blah. Again, next month when I went there and she said, you have to come this time for Bhiksha. I went there. And now, day before yesterday, she called me. Swamiji, where are you? I said, why? I want you to meet my daughter. I said, she's in US. No, when you came for Bhiksha, now sooner you left, within 5 minutes, she accidentally came over. I saw her accidentally at my doorstep. She did not reveal to me that she's coming. Great. Similarly, I sat in and accidentally Atma comes out. And Atma says, hey, I am Atma. It appears suddenly. It cannot. Because who appears as I all the time is Atma. It is already manifest. Balya dishvapi jagrada dishutatha sarvasvavastasvapi vyavrittasvanu vartamanam aham antaspurantam sada swatmanam prakati karoti bhajatam yo mudraya bhadraya tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye nama idam Shri Dakshina Murtaye. The self is revealing as I every moment. What appears as I is self. It can no more manifest further than what it manifests now. So there is no accidental appearance possible of the self. There is no samadhi realization of the self. You already are that self. The whole, please listen, this whole process. Teacher doesn't reveal the self. It is Swata Siddha. It is Chit Swarupa. Self-manifesting, self-revealing, self-existent. Swayamasti. It doesn't require anything else to exist. It doesn't require any other light to shine. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agni. There is a question fire can light you. Why tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam? It is in your light everybody shines. So what is the process of learning? What is teaching? Teacher doesn't reveal self for you because you know I am. Aham asmi, aham bhami, I know I am. I don't need to be told, hey, this is you are. But that I is Brahman, that is to be revealed by teacher. That I which is self-existent, self-revealing now is taken as small individual, insignificant, and that self feels that the whole world is out to me, always defensive and often offensive to protect oneself. They say offense is the best defense. The fellow is offensive because to protect that insignificant I. The teaching is manifestation of the self as Brahman, which is a fact. You are made to see this fact. It's like a toddler, first grader or KG guy is given an equation. 9 plus 4 is equal to 20 minus 6. It is true, but the child has to see how. 9 plus 4 is 14. 20 minus 6 is 14. 14 is equal to 40. Just to see. The self is manifestation. You have to see the self as Purna Brahma. That is a process of teaching. So one has to choose oneself, first of all. Then one has to choose the right means for the self. Discover that I convert a mumukshu into jignasu. And jignasu should attend the teaching of a teacher who is Shrotriya Brahmanist only. That's the right means. So one has to cultivate moksha, go to the right means with the proper teacher, and ultimately choose these teachings of these Upanishadic mantras. That is what Bhagavad Pad Shankaracharya ji emphasizes and reveals in the next mantra. You just chant the next mantra. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha. Namedhayana bahuna shrutena. Namedhayana bahuna shrutena. Tamevaishe vivrunute. Tamevaishe vrunute tena labhyaha. Tamevaisha vrunute tena labhyaha. Tasyeisha vivrunute tanum swam. Tasyeisha atma vivrunute tanum swam. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha. Namedhayana bahuna shute bahudha shutena. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha. Namedhayana bahudha shutena. Yamevaisha prunute tattena labhyaha. Tatre tasyeisha atma vivrunute tanum swam. Yamevaisha vrunute tena labhyaha. Tasyeisha atma vivrunute tanum swam. Ayam atma. This self. If it was an experiential self, they say that self. If the self was away from me, then that self. This self, this means which is right now here, which is you, that self, which is Purna. Pravachanena na labhya. You cannot gain by pravachana. Namedhaya, nor by memory. Na bahuna shute, na bahuda shute, not by much listening. He'll explain these words properly. And we take up the mantra in tomorrow's class. Today, just see the word meaning. Yame vaisha vrunute. You know, yama esha vrunute. Esha, this person, vrunute. To whom this person chooses to know. Tena labhya. To him alone is available. And tasya, to him only or her only, esha atma, this self, what will reveal its nature. One who chooses the self, to that person will reveal the nature of the self. I think we conclude now today. We'll continue the class tomorrow. Okay. Monday I am traveling 32 and coming at midnight 12. So we will not have a class on Monday. Okay. But tomorrow English class is there. We'll see you tomorrow for English class at 8 o'clock. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। नमस्ते।